I'm Isabella Drake, a science teacher in the charming town of Asheville, North Carolina, where my focus is on biology and chemistry. Throughout my career, I've always strived to be both honest and analytical in my approach. However, a remarkable event a few months ago transformed my understanding of life, death, and whatever may come after. It was an ordinary Saturday morning, and I was out on my usual jog, enjoying the fresh air and scenery. Out of nowhere, a sharp pain pierced my chest, and I collapsed right there. It turned out I had experienced a serious heart attack stemming from a birth defect that I was completely unaware of. The next thing I knew, I was floating above my own body. I could see the paramedics working desperately to bring me back to life, but I felt this incredible sense of peace, almost as if I were in a dream. Suddenly, I found myself speeding through what felt like a dark tunnel, rushing toward a dazzling white light, a sensation many people describe after a near-death experience. When I finally emerged, I was greeted by the most incredible sight, a breathtaking paradise filled with flowers of every color imaginable. The air was alive with enchanting music, and I felt enveloped by an immense love surrounding me. To my surprise, my grandmother, who had passed away when I was just a teenager, appeared before me, looking vibrant and youthful. She embraced me warmly, sharing her pride in the person I had become. With a gentle touch, she conveyed that my journey wasn't complete. I still had meaningful contributions to make back on Earth. In that moment, something drew my grandmother's attention. She held my hand tightly, and suddenly we found ourselves in what felt like a grand stadium. It was here that I met Jesus. Describing his presence is challenging, but I can tell you it was filled with unconditional love and kindness. Being near him brought an extraordinary sense of comfort and acceptance. With a warm smile, he signaled that he had something significant to share with me. As he waved his hand, the scenery around us began to change, revealing many souls gathered nearby. Jesus explained that we were in the third heaven, a tranquil resting place for those who had recently passed on. I noticed different areas within this space. In one section, there were souls clearly at peace. Jesus told me they were individuals who had led good lives and were safe while awaiting their final resurrection. Conversely, I saw other souls in another area, actively engaged in learning and growth. Imagine a shadowy realm where restless souls dwell, waiting for their chance at redemption. Jesus spoke with a weighty tone, revealing that these souls had turned away from love and goodness during their earthly existence. Although they weren't in agony, they existed apart from the divine light and love of God. However, he promised them that at the end of their journey, a new opportunity for choice would await. This third heaven, he explained, was a temporary pit stop, much like a layover, an essential pause between life on earth and the eternal realms to come. Upon passing, spirits arrive here immediately, where they have the chance to reflect, learn, and prepare for what lies ahead. Those who have lived virtuous lives discover peace and joy in this realm, getting a glimpse of heaven. For those still in need of spiritual growth, this place serves as a beacon of hope. Even those who have wandered into darkness can redirect their paths toward the light and find their salvation. During my time in this heavenly haven, I reunited with my childhood best friend, who had lost her battle with cancer during our college years. Surrounded in a nurturing space, she radiated happiness and tranquility as she worked on forgiving herself and moving past old regrets. Nearby, I noticed a distant cousin grappling with addiction. His surroundings seemed grim, yet I could see angels gently guiding him. He delivered a profound message. No matter how lost someone feels, hope is always within reach. From him, I was entrusted with an important mission to share back on Earth. He expressed his sorrow for those who either dread death or perceive it as a bleak end. His plea was clear: life offers so much more, and death is simply a transition to further growth. He underscored the significance of living with kindness, choosing love over hate, and embracing forgiveness as guiding principles that leave a lasting impact. In the midst of this, Jesus reminded me that my purpose on earth remained crucial, and my journey wasn't finished yet. He inspired me to recount my experiences, spreading hope to others. After sharing one last warm embrace with my grandma, I hurried back through a tunnel, heart racing. Just as I felt myself fading, rescuers employed a defibrillator, and I was jolted back to life. Later, I discovered I had been gone for more than several minutes. Everything shifted dramatically for me. Death used to terrify me, but now, I view it as a doorway to something profoundly beautiful. I've grown to appreciate this life like never before. Imagine living in a place where love and personal growth are at the center of our everyday experiences. I've become more invested in the well-being of others, striving to embody kindness and gentleness. It's like I'm constantly reminding myself that every person I meet is on their unique spiritual path. I try to see them through a lens of unconditional love, similar to how I believe Jesus perceives each soul, hoping they can realize their full potential. One of the most important insights I've gained is that our choices and actions while we're here directly shape our souls and influence what happens next. It's really not just about following strict religious rules. It's more about evolving into beings of love, wisdom, and kindness. Each time we opt forgiveness instead of holding on to grudges, show kindness rather than selfishness, or take courageous steps instead of succumbing to fear, we draw nearer to that divine essence that gives life its richness. These choices, they have a profound impact beyond our immediate lives. They change our very essence. Souls who invest their time in learning to love, despite not being perfect, are the ones who consistently strive for personal growth and treat others with dignity. Then there are those who are still learning. They may have been decent people at heart, but grappled with obstacles. Perhaps they found it tough to forgive or tended to prioritize material success over genuine connections. Their drive to evolve is evident. On the other hand, you might notice souls trapped in darker places, often acting out of selfishness or unkindness. Yet it's essential to recognize that there's no eternal punishment for them either. I've seen angels and more evolved souls diligently working to reveal the divine love buried within these individuals. It really highlights the hope that exists for all. One of the most powerful messages Jesus shared with me was that no one is beyond redemption. Each person carries a sacred spark. Even those who seem lost in despair, they can always choose to seek out the light. Love is relentless. It never abandons anyone, regardless of how long the journey takes. It might sound a bit out there, especially coming from someone who teaches science, but I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't lived it. It's interesting how some folks, even those closest to me, think my experience might have just been a particularly vivid dream, or maybe a sign that I wasn't getting enough oxygen. But let me tell you, what I saw and felt was incredibly real, more tangible than anything I've ever encountered. The emotions of love, hope, and the certainty that our minds continue after this life are far too important to keep to ourselves, even if not everyone is willing to embrace that truth. I'd really like to explore what you went through. Jesus once spoke about heaven having different layers. He told me what I experienced was in the third heaven, which serves as a kind of first stop for souls departing this earthly existence. It's amazing to think about. He even mentioned there are higher realms, each one more breathtaking than the last. This made me reflect on what I came to understand later about my own adventure. I found out that some faith traditions cherish the Book of Enoch, which isn't found in the Bible. Enoch describes his journey through 10 unique realms. Jesus confirmed to me that there are indeed numerous heavenly places, each crafted to help souls grow spiritually in their own special ways. As part of my journey, I discovered a stunning part of the third heaven that's difficult to articulate. Imagine the most vibrant, alive garden you can dream of, filled with every color imaginable. Jesus likened it to Eden or paradise. In the middle of this garden stood an extraordinary tree. He called it the Tree of Life. I'd never seen anything like it. It seemed to glow from within, and its fruits twinkled like they were crafted from gold and precious gems. Jesus explained that this tree provides essential spiritual nourishment for the souls in that realm. Looking back, I also ventured into some of the more somber areas of existence. In certain spots, there was a distinct chill and a feeling of darkness. I came across souls that seemed lost or troubled, wandering without direction. Jesus clarified that these were once living people who had turned away from love and light. It wasn't hell in the traditional sense, a place of endless suffering. Rather, These souls had made choices that brought them to this place, shaped by their actions and thoughts during their lives. But even in those dim spaces, there was a sense of hope. Angels and more enlightened souls were working hard to steer these wandering spirits back towards the light. It's fascinating how the thoughts of Jesus about the behaviors that lead people into darker places resonate with what's outlined in the book of Enoch. He talked about the importance of respecting God, the dangers of deceit, the wrongness of sorcery, and the exploitation of those who are vulnerable. What stood out to me was his perspective on consequences. It's not about punishment at all, which is so different from how many of us typically think about it. During our chats, I realized that judgment isn't a vengeful deity punishing us for our mistakes. Instead, it's an opportunity for deeper self-reflection. When we leave this world, we undergo a thorough review of our lives, allowing us to consider our choices and their effects. Imagine standing there as all your actions come into sharp focus. You see not just how they affected you, but how they touched everyone around you. It's an awe-inspiring moment, especially for those who have chosen paths of love and kindness. However, for individuals who have inflicted pain, this moment can feel overwhelming. The goal, though, is not punishment. It's about learning and healing. In one of my experiences, Jesus unveiled the vision of the third heaven, a space perched between what Enoch called corruptibility and incorruptibility. It's a place where souls are shedding their earthly imperfections and moving towards a higher, purer existence. This journey takes time, as each soul learns and grows. Among the stunning things I saw was the flowering trees described by Enoch. Their scent enveloped me. It was simply enchanting. Jesus pointed out two distinct streams, one teeming with milk and honey, the other rich with oil and wine. These weren't just ordinary substances. They represented spiritual healing and nourishment for the souls residing in that realm. I also encountered the burning river that Enoch referenced. Jesus assured me that it wasn't there to punish. Instead, souls choose to immerse themselves in its cleansing flames, to rid themselves of negativity and move toward purity of spirit. There was also a remarkable place that Enoch talked about, where the Lord experiences rest when he ascends into paradise. Being there was an unforgettable experience, filled with a divine essence that is hard to put into words. It perfectly matched Enoch's glowing account, brimming with extraordinary goodness and fragrance. Yet, despite the beauty, I couldn't help but notice the oppressive darkness that Enoch described as the fate of evil souls. Imagine a moment when the atmosphere shifts and you feel a deep understanding unfold. Jesus made it clear that the challenges we face aren't endless punishments. Instead, they're temporary states. When I asked about the final judgment, he shared that there would come a time when every soul would be raised and face eternal judgment. But don't picture a grim courtroom scene with a stern judge. Instead, envision a profound moment of clarity where every individual truly understands the weight of their actions and choices. In that significant instant, souls will encounter the essence of divine love. From this pivotal juncture, they're presented with a choice: to accept that love and seek an even higher state of joy. It's intriguing how love and personal growth can draw some closer to these elevated realms, while others may decide to stay away. This view on divine justice in the afterlife isn't your typical portrayal. The fundamental truth is that God doesn't push anyone into distress. It's individuals who sometimes choose to separate themselves from love and light. Still, no matter how far one strays, there's always a path back, even if the journey seems challenging. We hold the power of choice in our hands. God's love is ever present, gently nudging us towards happiness and growth without forcing itself upon us. At this moment, I wasn't shown those lofty realms. In fact, I sensed it might be too much to handle right now. Yet, beyond our current understanding lies a world brimming with beauty and creativity, filled with love and inhabited by those whose hearts resonate with divine affection. He shared that these enlightened beings continue to grow and evolve, frequently stepping into roles designed to guide and protect others, what some might call angels. Some even take part in the creation of new worlds and life forms. Ultimately, the goal is for every spirit to realize its divine nature and contribute to nurturing the world with love. Over the years, he has revealed himself in many ways, always aiming to awaken people to the truth of divine love. With a sense of gentle sorrow and understanding, he conveyed that confusion often arises when individuals mistake the finger pointing to the moon for the moon itself. This occurs when people cling too tightly to their religious beliefs, losing sight of the deeper love those traditions are meant to convey. Imagine stepping into a conversation about the deeper aspects of spirituality, where Isabella Drake shares her insights. She brings to light the idea that there are dark spiritual forces that can twist religious teachings, creating rifts and negativity among people. But despite the shadows, she carries a hopeful message. Light always overcomes darkness, and love can heal even the most troubled situations. This love, whether directed towards God or to one another, is all-encompassing. Isabella observes that many followers get caught up in the pursuit of political power, drifting away from the core messages of love and forgiveness that she holds dear. Regardless of how she expresses her beliefs, whether through face or title, what truly matters is the willingness of individuals to accept divine love into their lives. She admires those who question and doubt. Many skeptics are actually on meaningful journeys to discover this profound love themselves. In discussions about faith, a significant point often arises concerning those who misuse religion for power or manipulation. It's an interesting thought. A devout person who exploits their beliefs may stray farther from genuine spiritual truth than someone who openly identifies as an atheist. Isabella's wisdom knows no bounds. Her emphasis remains on love as a universal principle. When you meet someone, she suggests, treat them as if they are the most important person in the world at that moment, because they really are. Reflecting on her own journey, Isabella admits that the fear of what happens after death has faded over time. She now perceives it not as an ending, but rather as a transition into something far more magnificent than we can imagine. Sure, the process of dying is emotional and can be painful, but it also deepens her appreciation for life itself. Understanding that our time here is finite adds urgency to the way she engages with the world, infusing each encounter with meaning. While she's thrilled about what lies ahead, Isabella is equally dedicated to cherishing every moment. She believes in loving wholeheartedly, continuously growing, and working towards positive change. A common question she encounters relates to our beloved pets and their existence beyond this life. Happily, she recounts that she has seen animals in the afterlife. Every soul is sacred, as Jesus emphasized, and animal spirits indeed persist beyond their physical departure. Imagine the emotional growth we experience isn't necessarily mirrored by all beings, yet they certainly have the capacity to feel love and joy, even in the afterlife. A particularly touching moment for me was reuniting with my childhood dog. Seeing him again filled me with a warmth and vibrancy that felt almost contagious. That experience reminded me of the timeless connections we share, transcending species. I also observed many joyful reunions among spirits, each one radiating a type of love that's deeply profound. In that realm, love is free from the confines of fear and ego, resonating far beyond anything we experience here. It's intriguing to absorb what Christ teaches about soul connections. It's not all about hunting for just one soulmate. Instead, we're connected to numerous spirits throughout different lifetimes. These connections can include cherished partners, relatives, friends, and even brief encounters with people who leave a significant impact. Often, groups of souls journey together repeatedly, each playing unique roles that challenge and support one another as they learn and evolve. Think about the various relationships we have in our lives, whether they're with your child, a friend, or even someone you occasionally clash with. Every one of these connections imparts lessons about love in its many forms. As time unfolds, we begin to grasp the larger narrative, seeing the reasons behind the bonds we formed during our earthly journey. Jesus once referred to life on earth as a demanding school, a place where our trials and the connections we forge drive personal development in a way that the spiritual realm often can't. He explained that souls always have choices regarding how they grow and serve. Earth serves as a transformative space, presenting intense situations that shape our spiritual evolution. Our main goal while we're here is to develop a deeper and more conscious form of love. It's about shattering the illusion of separateness to understand our divine essence. He impressed upon me that the challenges we face are not punishments. They are essential chances for growth. Each obstacle is an opportunity to select love over fear, to choose healing in place of anger, and to embrace courage rather than complacency. The choices we make during these times profoundly affect our minds. Isabella Drake described to me how crucial free will is in our lives. Instead of making us into beings that would instinctively love and obey, God chose to give us the opportunity to truly choose love. Being placed in a world filled with challenges allows us to shape our own realities. When you think about it, this perspective can really change how we see the tough times we face, right? It's important to remember, though, that Isabella was deeply aware of the pain that people experience. Her compassion was immense. She always held such love for those suffering. She shared that facing our toughest experiences with courage and an open heart can lead to positive results. Plus, she reassured me that we're never genuinely alone in our battles. There's always a presence, guardian angels, spiritual guides, and advanced souls standing by, ready to assist us, even if we can't see them. While reflecting on the love and guidance of my grandma and other spirits I had encountered, I found myself surrounded by radiant, angelic figures. They emanated light and love in a variety of forms, some resembling traditional angels, while others appeared as vibrant beams of colored light, moving in fascinating patterns. Isabella described a grand assembly of spiritual beings, each with its own important role in the universe, ensuring that harmony exists in life and providing support to us all. Imagine witnessing a realm where individual souls are lovingly nurtured. Some souls operate on a small scale, while others have a significant impact, stretching their influence beyond our comprehension. I caught glimpses of distant dimensions, places that looked entirely otherworldly. Isabella explained that life thrives in countless forms throughout the cosmos, often in ways that can truly astonish us. She emphasized that as souls progress, they are able to delve into different experiences and realms. My curiosity piqued when I asked her about the existence of aliens visiting our planet. To my astonishment, she confirmed it. She talked about beings from other worlds that have connected with us in the past. Some arrived with good intentions, some stayed neutral, and a few had less than noble aims. Nonetheless, she stressed that real spiritual growth must come from within. No other influence, whether it's positive or negative, can substitute for our personal journeys. Isabella mentioned that as technology and spirituality evolve, the barriers between different cultures will continue to diminish, making communication ever easier. Imagine a world where we're on the brink of something transformative. Right now, we stand at a crucial crossroad, a moment that could define our future. We have a choice: to pursue a future filled with peace and harmony, or to follow a path leading to destruction. The power of that decision rests in our hands. In time, every single person will awaken to a deeper spiritual awareness, but the path to that awakening will vary based on our actions today. A powerful message came through. It's important for us to cultivate our spiritual growth and show love daily. Simple gestures of kindness, forgiving others, and championing justice all play vital roles in our collective evolution. While this enlightening experience unfolded, I was reminded of how important it is to care for our magnificent planet. Earth, alive with its own spirit, reacts to how we treat it, and the spiritual implications of our actions are profound. This really hit home for me. Realizing how our thoughts, words, and deeds impact the entire fabric of existence adds layers of meaning to our lives. It stresses our responsibilities in the way we go about our daily lives. As someone who teaches science, I found this intertwining perfectly with my own beliefs. Reflecting on my journey, my outlook has shifted quite a bit. Sure, I still hold the scientific method and critical thinking in high regard. Those skills are fundamental. But more than that, I want my students to ignite their curiosity. It's essential for them to explore ideas that stretch beyond scientific reasoning. I urge them to question everything, even their own beliefs. It's captivating to explore the wonders of the universe through a balance of skepticism and open-mindedness. After all, many great minds throughout history have combined their scientific endeavors with spirituality, believing that there's a deeper understanding of divine wisdom in their work. What I truly believe is that science and spirituality are actually allies. They provide us with distinct perspectives to savor the richness of our existence. I understand the skepticism some might feel. I've walked that path myself. But to truly embrace these concepts, personal experience is key. Recently, a surge of studies has shed light on near-death experiences, revealing compelling revelations from people who've experienced moments when their hearts ceased to beat. What's truly fascinating is not just what they recount, but the significant transformation they often undergo afterward. Many who have faced these life-altering events come back with an increased sense of empathy, a decrease in selfish behavior, and a diminished fear of mortality. Regardless of their prior beliefs, they tend to make meaningful changes in their lives, often focusing on uplifting others. Now, if these experiences were simply tricks of a declining mind, wouldn't the positive changes be hard to explain? It's clear to me that each person's journey is unique, leading them to their own conclusions. While not everyone may resonate with this perspective, and that's perfectly fine, I share my insights in the hope of inspiring others to ponder the vast possibilities that exist beyond our sensory perceptions. At the heart of all this, it's crucial to recognize your inherent worth. Remember, you are loved immensely. Each one of us is an eternal being brimming with potential. Your value is not just recognized, it's essential for personal growth, irrespective of your history. This lifetime is a remarkable gift. Seize it by loving deeply, expanding your wisdom, forgiving with ease, and helping others whenever you can. Additionally, tackling your fears and healing your emotional wounds is vital to your development. Keep in mind, death isn't the end. Rather, it marks the commencement of a journey into something more magnificent than we can ever comprehend. Don't let fear prevent you from engaging with this reality. Life is an intriguing adventure, and the choices we make have echoes that resonate through eternity. It's essential to trust in the life process. Always remember that you are growing, and during your hardest times, you're not navigating this path alone. Hope is ever present, even when you feel adrift. There is always a route back to love. I'm grateful for the chance to share my experiences with you, and I sincerely hope it provides comfort, inspiration, and new perspectives for your community.